Hey, what's up? This is Ian, and we are in Fukuoka, and we're gonna go for a little walk and talk about some things. I made this video. I don't know. I made it like a few days ago, last week or something, and then like it was messed up. So I'm doing it again. So anyway, I'm gonna talk about sort of my thoughts about feminism and SJWs and Black Lives Matter and religion, all these sort of trans activists, etc. I think they've got some things in common, and I think I think it's all very similar to like religions and cults and teams, like all these groups. They're rooting for the group. All kind of collectivist stuff. It's yeah, I don't really like it, to be honest with you. And like, as soon as you disagree with them, they're gonna write you off as like you disagree with the feminists. Say you don't like feminism, they'll say, "Oh, he's a masochist," or "He's a male chauvinist pig," or something like that. Same with every other group. And I think a lot of it is about projection. Like, I think a lot of feminists, for instance, are like, I don't know, like they want to run shit. Excuse my language, but yeah, I think that's what it is. It's about like domination and stuff. And at the same time, they complain so much about men this and how poorly treated they are and yada, yada, yada. But a lot of these feminist types are very, like, I don't know, masculine, domineering. Yeah, I would say like a trait of American woman to some extent. Not all American women. America's a huge country, but I'm from there, and I've lived in other countries. It's kind of loud with all the things. I would say the cicadas. They're like, yeah, American women are more masculine, just like in their. Not all of them, but I think there's a large number of them that are just very headstrong and yeah, masculine. I think in some sense you fight. If you're like, you're on one of these teams, you kind of become like, you're like a so-called oppressor too. So like they complain about, like, I grew up in a fairly feminist household, I would say. I remember one of the first things my older sister told me. I was probably a teenager. I was I don't know how old I was. I was young. And she said something about feminism was that feminists want equal rights. And now I think about it, like, okay, if you were really a feminist, why? Or okay, let me rephrase it. If you really want equal rights, why do you call yourself a feminist? You know, wouldn't you call yourself like a humanist or something along those lines? Be human first. And so, like, all these little collectives, all these little groups, SJWs, I think, Black Lives Matter, it's all like, it's not very high level stuff. It's like low level team rooting stuff. It's like, go Broncos, go Patriots, go Red Sox, go Celtics. It's like, you're rooting for your team, your little regional, local team. It's not really big thinking, if you ask me. Yeah, forgot where I was going with that. But I don't know. I lived in San Francisco for a long time, for like maybe 2013 to 2018, 5 years. And I remember one time going to the San Francisco Public Library, where I went there frequently, but one day I noticed a change, and they put, starting to rain a little bit. They put a sign on the door, which was like, it's like a male sign, the Venus sign for females, and the Mars sign for males. And then there was like some new little sign there. It's a nice color, isn't it? There's some like new sign there for like transgendered people or whatever. And I think like where do you draw the line? Like you can be what you want, but like I don't know. Some stuff doesn't make sense. Like you can't, you mess with your hormones. I saw a little bit of a Joe Rogan podcast with this woman named Abigail something. I don't remember her last name, but they're talking about like these teens, and she wrote a book about relating to like transgendered teens and whatnot. And she's telling this story about this one girl who started taking testosterone, and then it like ruined her, like what do you call that, her organs, sexual organs, and she had to get a hysterectomy or whatever. So yeah, I don't know, you're messing with like nature to some extent. I mean, if you go so far as to take hormones or even change your sex, and many of these things, like you're very unlikely, if you go that far, like to change your sex, like based on like some of the stuff that I've read, you're fairly likely to not be happy with your choice. Another thing, and that's not just about transgender, like changing your sex. That's just like plastic surgery. That's the thing with plastic surgery. People who get plastic surgery, the science, the studies out there, the psychology, the effects that they get from it, beneficial effects that they may feel, like the whole reason why they're changing the way they look or their sex is because they want to change the way how they feel, right? Really, like they should just practice a little bit more acceptance, I think. However, changing the way you feel, in the long term, it doesn't really change the way you feel. Maybe if you have a horrible disfigurement or something like that, it could. But the psychology is that it doesn't. And the reason why it doesn't is because you can't see yourself most of the time. Most of the time, you're not standing in front of a mirror. Yeah, so I don't know. Like, I think changing, like, yeah, do what you want to do. You're he, and I don't really care. Do what you want to do. Just don't tell me what to do, and make you call you by some special pronoun or something. Because to me, that's the same thing. What if I told you I'm black and I'm Asian and I'm just a little bit white, but you just saw me and you're like, what? You're white, dude. Are you a racist, like saying that? What's the difference between saying that and saying, well, I'm a woman, but actually I have the genitalia of a man? You know, like what's the difference? There's no difference if you ask me. No difference. So why would you have a problem with that? I don't really think that. I'm just like using it as an example. So, this stuff gets me kind of wound up. And like I said, like they all like write you off, like, oh, you're a racist, you're a bigot, if you don't believe what they think. And it's all like religion. It's like religion. Mormons, Christians, whatever your religion is, that's who you believe. You practice it. Chances are you hang out with people who also practice it, and you're gonna try to get people to get on your team. You know, like I lived in Taiwan, and let me check. Hello. Just checking if this video was still playing, and I lived in Taiwan, and there were like Mormons there that, you know, from the States, that go over and they ride around bicycles, and they got their little book, and they have their little dress up, a little white shirt and a little name tag and stuff, and they pedal around the city and try to get people to come to the church and whatnot. Taiwanese, they try to convert people. Yeah, I don't really think it's like, yeah, I think it's a lot of projection too. Like, I already said that. Like with feminism, you know, I don't know, man. I think it's a bit dangerous, to be honest. It's not very humane. Like you should be more about like the human race. What are you gonna do when, you know, the aliens come? You're not gonna care about whether your neighbor's a Republican or a Democrat. You know, you won't care. You know, you're gonna get together, and that's what's gonna happen when something big happens, like something like that happens. Actually, they're saying there's a lot more evidence out now. They're saying that's already happened a bunch of times with the aliens and stuff coming, or have already been here. But just like for example, you know, yeah, and then Black Lives Matter. Like, I think I don't know, man. It's like I get distracted. I think too many thoughts in my mind. I was at this website the other day. It's for like an online drum machine, and then right on the top it says hashtag Black Lives Matter. I'm just like, you know, I remember what Obama said. He said something like, I don't think they mean that like you don't matter if you're not black. But the thing is, every time you take a stance, like I'm a feminist, like you're like put yourself in a little box, in a little group, and you're gonna like make an enemy. You're like taking a confrontive, adversarial relationship to other people when you do that. Same with the Black Lives Matter thing. And maybe they don't mean that, saying that like, okay, you're not black, so you don't matter, or something, but it's like, yeah, you're like starting like an argument, or it's not a really big, it's not big holistic picture thinking, you know. And then the thing with the George Floyd thing, like, I don't know. I think media like blows everything way out of proportion. If George Floyd was white, this would never have probably even made it to the news, you know. But he was black, so I think another thing I don't see, like, okay, horrendous display of hostility and carelessness and murder, you could say that. But the first thing I don't see is racism. I'm not saying that there wasn't those sort of motives involved, but it's not what I see when I see that sort of thing happening. It's like, I think if you just look at the very surface of things, then you see a black man on the ground and then white men on top of him. So then, yeah, maybe you will think that if you just look at the very surface. But what if it was reversed, or what, you know, like, I don't know. Yeah, so what? Social justice warriors, like, I think it's a lot of hostility, like angriness and resentment. Like, I think a lot of it's that. And projection. Yeah. I'm probably going to think of something. I've made this video a few times, actually. And I'll probably think of something after I make the video. And if I do, I'll write it in the description down below. Sometimes I'll write lengthy descriptions on my videos, some of them. Anyways, this is Ian, and It's raining here in Fukuoka, and I gotta walk home, so I'm probably gotta sit here for a little bit, maybe meditate or something. I don't know. Anyways, this is Ian. Have a good one.